If 2700 mark is cleared off, it will do a ascending triangle pattern formation which has a 400 point up move, so that we'll move above the 3100, 3200 kind of levels as a target for this counter. So 2700 has to be watched on, and if it crosses, I would recommend a buy on this counter.
Some common strategies, this is what most of the investor community looks at. They look at the world markets, okay? So everyone looks at the world markets to decide whether the stock is going to move up or down.
मला एक गोष्ट आठवते. एक गाढव होता. त्या गाढवाला दररोज त्याचा मालक चापकानी मारायचा. का? तो गाढव होता, काम नव्हता करत बरोबर. तर एक दिवस जास्तच दुखी झाला गाढव आणि असा चालत होता. त्याचा एक दुसरा गाढव मित्र भेटला. त्या गाढवाने विचारलं की काय रे, आज तू दुखी काय आहेस एवढा? तर त्यांनी सांगितलं की आज दुखवायचं कारण की आज मला मालकाने जरा जास्तच मारलं. तर एवढं मारलंय की आज मला असं वाटतंय की आज मला जीवन नकोसं झालंय. मग तू ही नोकरी का नाही सोडून देत? दुसरा गाढव त्याला म्हटला. नाही रे, त्याचं एकदा काय झालं माहितीये का, मी यांच्या घराच्या खाली काम करत होतो. ह्या माझ्या मालकाला एक सुंदर मुलगी आहे आणि मी ऐकलं तो मालक तिच्या मुलीला म्हणत होता, एकदा ना तुझ्या गाढवाशी लग्न करून दिलं की मी मोकळा झालो. त्या आशेवर थांबलाय की कधीतरी मालकाची मुलगी मला मिळेल.
Yeah, so that, ladies and gentlemen, is the best introduction that you can really give for Kiran. As you can really see, he is a well-known celebrity in his own right. All of you, I'm sure, have read his introduction that came across when we set out the invite for the session today. So because of which, we're not necessarily running through it all over again, but that was a quick snapshot view of, what really makes him famous and what are all the activities that he does on this level. So Kiran, first of all, thank you again.
Thanks, Ajay.
And I think my leading question to you is, hey, Gadav, ye aikla apna tha, right? So, in what context when you look at and say a donkey and stock investing, right? And could you help us to understand that better in terms of what is it that you do?
Right. This story was related to a donkey, and it is not only donkey, but the basic fact is we live on expectations. And basically what happens is people wait. So if you, I've talked to many investors at large, and to most of the investors, almost 95% of the investors whom I talk to, they say that yes, I have invested at a particular stock at a particular level. If the stock goes up, I exit immediately. And if the stock goes down, I wait. I wait like a donkey in expectation that some of the other time this stock will come up to my level, and that is where I exit. And what happens is I enter at say 200 rupees, the stock goes to 50 rupees all the way down. I wait for 2 years. After 2 years, the stock comes back to 200, and then people proudly say, "मैंने आज तक loss किया नहीं." But in fact, the logic is I have not made money. The return on investment has taken a big beating. The opportunity cost has been lost, which is something that people should really understand. And it was related to that context that I was speaking in one of the seminars.
It suspiciously sounds more like, the way I manage my stocks.
Or many of us.
Yeah, I mean, and maybe even worse, sell it at that 50 rupees and make a loss and be happy about you got 50 rupees back. Yeah. I think with that as a logic and as a background, I think it would be helpful for you to share with the audience what exactly is this concept of a technical analysis, right? It sounds really technical, right, in the sense of the term, and it would be helpful for the people to really understand what does technical analysis really mean.
Right. So basically, when you talk about stock market analysis, there are two types of analysis. One is fundamental analysis and one is technical analysis. So when we talk about fundamental analysis, practically everyone knows of what is fundamental analysis. You talk about the PE ratios, the EPS, the company's book value, etc., etc. You need to know the ratios to arrive at what the company is all about. You need to know the management, etc., etc. But having said this, the problem is everyone knows Infosys is a very good company. Who would say Infosys is not a good company? L&T, for that matter, is one of the best fundamental companies in India. So there are a number of companies which are fundamentally very good. But the problem is the entry and the exit levels. So if I get a chance to enter and exit out of these good companies, for that matter, about a quarter back when Infosys declared its results, the Infosys stock tanked down 10-12%, and people were lost. They never expected this to happen. So as a chartist, as a technical analyst, if I can sense this 10 days earlier and I exit out of Infosys then, when the stock comes to 2200, I get a buy signal, I buy again, and now it is at 2500. So I make a lot of money by using this technique. So basically, fundamental analysis is something that people fundamental analysis is something that people do believe that reading balance sheet is something which will allow me to arrive at a conclusion that this company is good or bad. The problem with fundamental analysis as a common investor is that it is not the past balance sheet that I should be looking at, but I should be looking at the future balance sheet. Now, how many over here would be able to analyze the future balance sheet of a company? It is practically impossible, for which you need to go and meet the management, talk to the management, understand their future plans, which is not possible. Maybe you are a top management in that company. Even if I ask you about your company, it makes things difficult to forecast the next 3 years. Now, if it is your company and you cannot focus the next 3 years, how can you forecast someone else's company? So that is a big challenge. And there are many intelligent fundamental analysts out there who actually can do that. And when they arrive at a conclusion as to buy, a hold or a sell, they tell this news to their brokers, and the brokers start taking rectified steps in terms of their HNI clients. So automatically there is demand and supply that happens, and that demand and supply is reflected on the charts. So reading charts is a simple way to analyze the future of the company. So technical analysis, according to me, is tomorrow's newspaper today. Always. I'm telling you, technical analysis is an art wherein you can tell what is going to happen in future precisely. And that is what technical analysis is all about.
Yeah, I mean, sounds fundamentally very simple, and you wonder why it would take such a lot of people to make mistakes to even realize that in the first place, right?
No, Ajay, the problem is people feel technical analysis is difficult. It is not. The problem is their mentality. What happens is when people talk about two words, technical and analysis, they go 2 steps behind. They feel that this is an art which maybe it is done only by the intelligent. But I am a pure BCom student. I have not done anything more to do that. But if a pure BCom student can do that, anyone else can. So your background is not very important when it comes to technical analysis. I am telling you, even a non-matric pass person can know what technical analysis. He can predict as good as what I can. That art is very, very simple. You need to clear that the mental barrier that people have.
Yeah, I think that's a very valid point, and that really brings us to getting an understanding now. The concepts have been around, like we discussed, right? It's been around for quite some time. It's nothing new. I think what really makes a difference is being able to identify when to get in and when to get out, which is the key question always, right? The fundamentals or the information or charts can always be available. And I think when I look back in terms of what you've done, I think you've really been able to put this together, right, into a very, very simple process and take that across to everyone. So I think this is the right time for you to, share with everybody out here, what is the business model that you typically follow? How is it that you build this business right now?
Right. So business model, if you talk about business model in particular, we run into 3 verticals. The first vertical is training. The second, of course, is consultancy, and the third is our software. So when it comes to training, there are 2 types of training that we do. First one is technical analysis, which is a 2-day seminar, an 18 hours course, intensive course, weekend course, wherein we teach right from the start to the end. Right from when do you buy, why do you buy, what would be a price target, and what would be a time target. Now this time target is something that is my domain. That is where my inventions is what it is. No book in the world has that time target kind of concept. Now because now I've trained more than 10,000 people, they have now in turn started training. So now this time target is